Mikhail thoughtfully looked at the monitor. His restaurant was only a month old and there was no possibility yet to hire real security or a security service. Of course, he knew well that employees could cause harm, some more, some less. Very often people steal. The reasons for this vary, but he couldn't allow it to ruin his restaurant. Mikhail had been collecting money for years to open his place. Now, when everything was going even better than planned, he watched as his dishwasher carried a large bag towards the exit, and it had only been 3 days since he installed cameras. So had she been doing this for an entire month? He decisively stood up. Theft needed to be nipped in the bud. It was strange, of course. The girl was very young and didn't seem like a thief. But apparently she was very good at hiding her true face. The restaurant closed in half an hour. The dishwasher and manager were the last to leave. By the way, the dishwasher exited through another door, which the manager then locked. Although that door couldn't be opened from the outside, so that explained why she wasn't aware. She simply didn't accompany that worker. Everything worked out conveniently for the dishwasher. He would manage to catch her. Mikhail lived just 3 intersections away from his restaurant. By car, it took about 5 minutes. He arrived, turned off the headlights, and waited. Any minute now, that very dishwasher should appear. Valia carefully adjusted her cap. Well, that's it. Today my girl behaved well. Just hold on a little longer and mommy will take you out soon. Valia double-checked everything. The holes made in the bag weren't covered. Angelina was comfortable. Half an hour ago, Valia had fed her so the little one would sleep soundly. She fully understood that this was wrong. If anyone found out, they would simply take Angelina away from her, but there was no other way. Valia's milk had disappeared immediately. Formula cost so much that child benefits only lasted 2 weeks. And then there were diapers, utilities. The girl didn't know what to do for a long time, and then she learned about the opening of a new restaurant and the recruitment of staff. When she came for the interview, she still didn't know how she would manage her responsibilities. She desperately needed the job, but her neighbor warned her. She could only sit with Angelina twice a week, and even that would require Valia to clean for her in return. When Valia saw the place where she would work and realized that she would be the only dishwasher for now, a plan formed in her head. It was so unrealistic, so risky that Valia was taken aback. Then she decided to try. Angelina was only a month old when Valia first brought her to work. The baby was so calm that she quietly lay and slept in the storage room where extra dishes were kept. There was plenty of space, and it was clean. Valia maintained cleanliness. Valia had lost her parents in childhood and lived with her grandmother. Her grandmother was a romantic soul. Practical things like daily life completely bored the elderly woman. From the age of 10, Valia handled all household chores herself. Andrei swept her off her feet right away. She didn't just fall in love, she went mad. Her grandmother had been gone for a year, and the girl immediately offered Andrei to move in with her. He agreed. However, as soon as he learned that Valia was pregnant, he disappeared, taking what little valuables were in the apartment. Valia didn't go to the police. She felt so ashamed that she tried not to go outside. She almost got back on her feet. Everything would have been fine if those people hadn't come to her. They wanted her to sell them the apartment. She had no intention of selling anything, but they said that she might accidentally get hit by a car and then her child would become an orphan. That same day, her milk dried up completely. And then Valia realized now the real trials were beginning. The job was a lifesaver. They were paid weekly. There was no need to worry about food, and they had enough for everything. About what would happen when Angelina turned 3-4 months, Valia tried not to think. She was strong, smart, and would handle it. Though, recently she had serious doubts about whether she was strong and smart. Valia carefully set the bag down, closed the door, turned around, and found herself face to face with the owner of the restaurant. "Oh, ow!" he mimicked her. "Show me what you're carrying in the bag. Stealing in such volumes, no restaurant can withstand that." Valia shielded the bag with her body. "I've never stolen anything. How dare you accuse me? Should I feel ashamed? Not you, but me?" He laughed. then became serious. Show me what's in the bag or I'll call the police. Valia sighed. She had no choice, especially since Angelina started moving inside the bag. She crouched, opened the bag, and Mikhail gasped. A baby? Where did you get it? Is it yours? Are you working with a baby? Meanwhile, Valia took Angelina in her arms. Am I fired? Wait, what are you? Let me walk you home. Do you live far? No, just around the corner. Well, let me escort you. Give me that cursed bag. Mikhail perfectly understood that Valia wasn't bringing such a tiny child to work because of a good life. He himself had a very tough upbringing with alcoholic parents. If he hadn't been taken away from them, who knows, maybe he would have ended up just like them. They reached her house, but Misha had no intention of backing off. He went up with Valia to the necessary floor, and when the girl gave him a meaningful look, he said, I'd drink a cup of tea. Valia shrugged. Tea wasn't an issue. Well, she couldn't kick him out, could she? What if... No. He wouldn't let her work with the baby anyway. She quickly changed Angelina, made her a bit of formula, just enough to help her sleep. She had eaten recently. Then she went to the kitchen where Mikhail was already brewing tea. He looked at her cheerfully. I took the liberty of making myself at home, he said. Valia sat down and realized how exhausted she was. Not physically, but mentally. All this tension, will they find out, won't they find out? Will they fire her, won't they fire her? And before she knew it, she burst into tears. My God, what am I going to do now? Misha sat down across from her and slid a mug towards her. Well, tell me your story. What? She looked at him in surprise. Everything, from birth, school, and onwards. Valia began talking. Sometimes she sipped tea as she spoke. As she talked, she realized how unfortunate she was. Everything in her life seemed to go wrong. Why? But she didn't know the answer. As Misha listened, he avoided looking at her. He too felt like crying because he had experienced life's unfairness in full measure. So here's what we're going to do. Stay home for a couple of days. I'll call someone. We need to figure something out in the next 2 days. Us. Well, I can't just leave you in this situation, especially since you washed dishes well. All right, I'm leaving. Good night. He abruptly stood up and left. Valia didn't even have time to thank him. She sat for a while longer and then went to lock the door. In the hallway on the side table lay several large bills. Valia leaned against the wall and cried again. The next day she had to exchange one of the bills. Angelina's temperature rose. The doctor prescribed medication and vitamins. The young mother had no choice but to quickly run to the pharmacy while Angelina slept. Luckily, she only needed to reach the neighboring building. She had just closed the door behind her when the doorbell rang. Her heart pounded. She assumed it was Mikhail. Valia glanced in the mirror and opened the door. She immediately tried to close it, but a young man's foot blocked her way as he smirked arrogantly. Well, hello there, single mommy. Why so rude to guests? He pushed past her and entered the apartment. With him came another man and a woman. They settled themselves at the table like they owned the place, and the woman began laying out papers. So, have you thought about it? I've thought about it. Get out, or I'll call the police. Oh, go ahead. Call them. We'll see. Just remember, calling the police signs your own death sentence. Think about your child. Valia was overwhelmed with indignation. Who are you? What do you want? I won't sell any apartment. You will. Each day of your stubbornness makes your apartment worth less to you. So the sooner you agree, the more money you'll get. The young man named a sum and Valia laughed despite being terrified. You're joking? That's the price of a bathroom in this building. He smirked. In a few days, you'll agree anyway, just for even less. Get out! I'm not selling anything. He moved toward her and Valia shrank back. Suddenly, the young man jumped oddly and collapsed to the floor. Behind him stood Mikhail. He turned to those sitting at the table. anyone else need me to explain that the apartment isn't for sale?" The guest quickly vanished and Mikhail turned to her. "Why didn't you tell me about them? I didn't think they'd come back." Valia looked so frightened. His heart ached. She was so delicate, so defenseless. "Pack your things." "Where to?" "Somewhere safe. Stop asking questions." He barked so loudly that Valia burst into tears. "Sorry, you'll come stay with me. I'm hardly ever home anyway. It'll be safer for you there. Who knows what those creeps will do next?" Valia obediently went to pack. 15 minutes later, they were leaving the apartment. A neighbor peeked out onto the landing. "Valia, is this the father showing up? Does that mean I don't have to babysit Angelina anymore or clean for you?" Mikhail smiled sweetly, revealing his pearly whites. "Exactly. Now you'll have to clean up after yourself." The neighbor slammed the door in fear. Not a man, but some kind of beast. And poor Valia got involved with him, although wasn't someone else visiting her before? She waved her hand dismissively. Who could understand these youngsters? Angelina examined the spacious apartment. "It's beautiful here." "That's now. You should have seen it when I bought it. Just walls, everything broken. By the way, this will be your room." He swung the door open. Valia noticed a man's bathrobe and slippers. "But this is your room." "Don't be formal. We're not at work. It's big and warm, so you'll live here and I'll move over there." He pointed to a door on the opposite side. "It feels awkward." "It's more awkward to sleep on the ceiling. Make yourselves comfortable. I'll be back soon." Misha went somewhere. Valia unpacked their belongings, then went to the kitchen to get a drink of water. A pile of dirty mugs filled the sink. It seemed Mikhail only drank coffee at home. She washed the dishes, peeked in the fridge. An hour later, cutlets simmered on the stove, potatoes boiled in a pot, and Valia chopped salad, smiling at Angelina, who lay propped up with pillows on the kitchen sofa. The door slammed. A sweaty Mikhail stumbled into the kitchen. He sniffed the air. "I'm starving. Let's eat quickly." Valia picked up Angelina and followed him. In the hallway stood a brand new crib and stroller. Several bags, likely with clothes, sat in the crib. "Oh, what is all this? I don't have this kind of money. I don't know when I could repay you." Misha smiled. "Strange creatures, women. Who's asking you to repay anything?" After dinner, Valia and Misha rearranged furniture. Misha joked around and Valia laughed. Even Angelina, lying on the big bed, babbled something in her own language. That night, neither Valia nor Mikhail slept. Suddenly, Mikhail realized how good he felt. He wasn't alone in the house. He propped himself up on his elbow. Eventually, Valia would want to return to her place. She was so independent. She didn't want to owe anyone, but he understood clearly he didn't want her to leave. Over breakfast the next morning, Misha casually remarked, "We need to get married." The knife slipped from Valia's hands and clattered on the floor. "What? What?" "We need to get married. Angelina needs a father, and you need protection." Valia stared at him with wide eyes. "I never imagined marriage proposals could be like this." Misha put down his fork and looked at her. What could he say? That he fell head over heels in love with a woman with a child who washed dishes in his restaurant? He tried to find the right words, but suddenly Valia leaned across the table and kissed him softly, tenderly. Mikhail felt as if an electric shock ran through him. He gently pushed her away, grabbed his phone, and called the restaurant. "Can you manage without me? I have an important meeting today. I won't be coming in." "Oh, and the dishwasher? Yes, find a new one. Valia won't be coming back." If you enjoyed the story, please support me with a thumbs up button. To stay updated on new interesting stories, click the bell icon. Thank you and all the best.